Shalom, truth seekers. Alright, I've been wanting to do this video for a while, and I got a theory about the Moonset video that was on the Jerry Morris channel in the spring of 2019. And it has implications for the start of the creator's year for the year 2020. And so just to get you in the mood for this discussion, let's go ahead and watch that video because it's just so cool. And we'll talk about it. I have horrible video quality. But, so this video is March 3rd, March 20th, 2019. This is a very important section of Enoch that kind of discusses what's going on in this video. The first part here, the moon sets with the sun in those two middle portals, the third and the fourth. And if anyone can take a shot at explaining what all of this is, that would be great. Big mystery to me. I think there's some translational things going on there. But anyway, so the thing is, if you know anything about moon movement on the horizon, if you don't know, it moves a lot, and so for the moon to align with the sun is really quite an incredible phenomenon. Like, let's see here, this is some data I took from the last 2019 spring as well, and you can see this post, these pictures were taken from the same perspective, vantage point, whatever, and this post is kind of a reference point. And you can see the first night on the 19th, the moon was here, the morning. This was before I went to work in the morning. And then the moon in one day jumped from here all the way over here. Now, granted, it was going to come down a little more. It was kind of curving this way, so it would probably land somewhere around here. And that moon was over there. But it jumps a lot. And there's another video I'll show you. You need to check this one out. It's really cool. The moon's this guy has a video recording the moon, and it's gonna come across the sky, and then one day later it's gonna be all the way down here. So it's very easy to see how the moon jumps a lot in the north-south direction over the course of just one day. The sun is not like that. The sun only jumps just a hair. Like it depending on the time of year, the movement it makes is only like maybe one of its diameters at the most. It's much smaller movement compared to what the moon does. But anyway, let's see here. So I wanted to take some time to analyze this, and it's been on my mind for a while. But I mean, the thing that I'm kind of zeroing in on, and I am of course very open-minded, but I really, if Enoch is true, Enoch seems to describe that the year has 4 equal seasons, and it just makes very simplistic sense that the creator created 4 equal seasons. It doesn't make much sense that he would have created seasons that are just a little bit longer or shorter than each other. And I mean, I have a couple of videos on my YouTube channel talking about this. If you search, like, just go to my channel, look for seasons not equal or seasons equal. I think there are 2 or 3 on discussing that, but, excuse me, it just, like I said, I'm very open. If that's what it is, fine. But Enoch doesn't seem to say that, and from a simplistic standpoint, that doesn't seem to make sense. And so, what I am concerned about is potentially that some of these sundial methods for the equinox event, and keep in mind equinox is not a word that you see in Enoch or the scriptures. Equinox is just a modern science term. What we're trying to understand is what is the beginning of the year by the Creator's standards, And, you know, if you search the scriptures, I don't think it's there in the canonized scriptures. Like, there are some clues about the revolution of the year, and I think some words like maybe Tafuka or something, like, but it's the rotation of the year, the revolution of the year, but there's nothing that really defines kind of how the timepieces work. So there's this kind of confusion about like what months are and when does the year start, and but anyway, where was I going with this? So Enoch seems to talk about this stuff, and he talks about the sun's, the moon, creating this sign with the sun, setting with the sun to start off the year. I mean, because the sun is only in the third and the fourth portals during the equinox events. Like, let's see here. Yeah, so in the third and the fourth portals, let's see, yeah, fourth gate. So the moon is only in the sun is only in those gates on the equinox event. So for the moon to join them there, that seems, you know, that's a sign to confirm at least the beginning of the year, and or the beginning of it. It didn't seem like the moon actually aligned with the sun for this past fall equinox. But anyway, so the seasons being equal, you know, that and these sundial methods, I'm just concerned that some of the sundial methods, if you watch my earlier sundial videos on my YouTube channel, you'll see I always had a concern about the equinox sundial methods, and it just made a lot more simplistic sense to confirm a solstice event. And so after 2 or 3 years of doing this, I finally lately, this past, we're in the North America, and so the shortest day of the year in North America, 2019, I was able to confirm, like, for the first time. I tried shorter sundial methods, but I finally used like a really tall sundial, and for the first time I was actually able to confirm without much doubt, with very much confidence, the day that the sun returned, the division of the seasons. Like, it was jumping a foot. I wasn't splitting hairs with a small sundial. It was a big jump. Here's the 19th to the 20th to the 21st, and then back to the 22nd. So I know that the shortest day of the year was around here, and so the turning point of the season was right around here. And so in taking a look at that data point, this is the moment-ish that I think the sun might have began to return. So assuming that the seasons are equal, as logic seems to say and as Enoch seems to say, then that's what this number here is. It's just simply 365.24 divided by 4 is what gives you this number, and so that's how long the seasons would be if the seasons were equal. And you know, this thing, I just wanted to say real quick, it makes sense that it would be slightly more. I mean, this is not a violation of Enoch, I don't think. I think this is in harmony with Enoch. If you read, there's a section in Enoch where it talks about how these luminaries, more than one, moon and sun, and possibly stars too, but they're rendering service on the 4 days, which are not reckoned in the reckoning of the year, and owing to them men go wrong therein. For those luminaries to truly render service on the world stations, one in the first portal, one in the third portal of the heavens, one in the fourth, one in the sixth, and the exactness of the year is accomplished through a separate 364 stations. So that's talking about like the sun, I think, moving from Tropic of Cancer to Tropic of Capricorn. That's what gives us the seasons. And so between these two lines that it bobs between over the course of the year, I guess there must be 364 positions or stations that it takes the increments. But on the seasonal days, where, the equinox, solstice, on these seasonal days when the sun hits its extreme positions or quarter points of the year, it has to render extra service for people to be able to see these signs. And I think, it's, if you imagine someone in, let's just say somewhere right around this X, and these are just maps stacked side by side, but the sun rises to the east of them, and then there's a whole day where the sun is above the horizon. Well, actually, it's only, because they'll see light, and then it'll turn to darkness, but their opportunity to record a sign, like with a sundial, is only going to be like up to here, and only when the sun is actually above the horizon can they record the sign. But then they're going to see dark, but then the sun continues to give sunlight to everyone else on Earth, so by the time it hits America, this person is going to still be seeing sunlight, and they're going to need till the sun goes down on the horizon for them to see the sign as well. And you keep going, someone in Australia, the day is beginning for them too, so now they're going to need a full day of sunlight. And you go all the way to the extreme of someone who is living just east of Eden, I guess was this analogy, but then they're going to need to see the sun above the horizon and the moon above the horizon for a certain amount of time. That's not going to be all the way out to here, because they'll still see light when the sun goes below the horizon, but when the sun is above the horizon, that's when it has the opportunity to render a sign. And so what it is it's like from here to here, and that approximately, it's more than 24 hours. And I think it's somewhere, it's somewhere right around this 0.31 that we're talking about. Where is that? It's this extra amount of time that's needed to render these luminary signs. And you see, that's one of the concerns I have, because when you're looking at these other sundial methods like the straight line method, or the armillaries, or some of these other methods floating around out there, I'm concerned that they might be more like an they are confirming a phenomenon, a solar phenomenon, but I'm concerned they might not be confirming what Enoch talked about. I mean, forget what modern science says, this equinox event that modern science says, but what I'm concerned about is, are these phenomenon that we're looking at, are they actually confirming the division of the seasons? And for example, I'm concerned they might be behaving more like an equilux event, and the equilux is not an equinox event, just to use those terms because people are familiar with them, but an equilux event is dependent on latitude. You'll have an equilux event different time than you'll have an equinox event because of your latitude. And so, for example, I recently heard from another truth seeker who claimed that they were up at the North Pole during the time of an equinox event, and they claimed that they could see the 24-hour sun during that equinox. And so I just have to say, if they saw the sun 24 hours in, like, non-stop in the sky, and they were trying to record the straight line method, they would have recorded a circle, not a straight line. They would have just got a circle pattern around their sundial because the sun's shining all day. And so that is a clear demonstration that that method, for example, it could not possibly be working for everyone on Earth. And that's the thing. Like Genesis 1:14, the luminaries were for signs. And so, like, the signs that they give, I think it has to be something that everyone on Earth has the opportunity to witness. And so someone cannot witness the straight line pattern at the equator. And I'm concerned, as you go up away from the equator, as your latitude changes, you will see this phenomenon, these phenomenons on different days. And if you look at this spread of people who have been collecting sundial data, they are all in a very close latitude range. They're pretty much the same distance away from the equator. So I mean, they're not, if we got someone like down here, or near one of the poles, or near the equator, I'd be very curious to see if they saw the straight line method on the same day. But anyway, the thing with the moon aligning with the sun, like Enoch is talking about, that is independent of latitude. Because no matter where a person is on Earth, they're going to be able to look at the rising horizon and see the sun and the moon are in the same position. And the setting horizon, the sun and the moon are in the same position. And so that is the sign I think we need to be looking for. That's the one that Enoch describes. And I'm getting to it, but I think that potentially is going to give us the equal seasons as well that Enoch describes, and that seems to make sense from logic. But anyway, so let's get to the analysis of this video. The possibility I'm seeing is, so it's obvious, and it's not being denied, that it doesn't appear the sun set in the same exact location of the moon. And so there are these different theories that, you know, as long as they set in the same range, that's acceptable. And, you know, that's an acceptable theory, that's fine. So that's what this, I believe, represents, is the width of the moon or the sun, and so they're showing, you know, they're kind of close enough. And if you look closely at this, you'll see the moon video was zoomed in. You see this little camel hump mountain here, and you can't really see it there because it's bright, but I took another snapshot over here, and you can see there's that camel hump zoomed out. And so the sun set right to the right of that camel's hump, like halfway up the slope. And so it's right around there somewhere. But anyway, so the theory is that they were close enough. And my question, and this is what coincided with the other sundial signs, like the Jerry Morris channel with their armillary, they confirmed with the armillary that it was the 20th. And even I, with the straight line method, and I think Squirrely Nations combined, we were able to see that the arc patterns flipped around like the 20th, I believe. So it just seemed like there were these phenomenons that matched the 20th. The only thing is, the sun wasn't exactly in the same position, so that's what this red line is just showing where the sun was, about halfway up that slope, and this line is showing where the moon was, but it's not exactly the same. And so people have come up with these theories about, you know, it's in an acceptable range, that's okay. But my thought is, what if the moon was hitting this position and getting ready to ride this position for the next, whatever, 24 or 36 hours? I think it's important for us to make sure, if we're going to monitor this spring, to get pictures of the moon both on the setting horizon and the rising horizon to kind of confirm where it is with proximity to the sun. Because, like I said, these other videos you'll see, and the pictures, the moon just jumps all over the place. Let me show you another one. Oh, perfect. Okay, whatever. I guess I won't show you that. But yeah, the moon jumps all over the place. And so, but my theory is, what if the moon was, you know, getting right to that alignment position, and it was at the start of getting ready to ride its track? And so then it was the next day. It was not the 20th, but the 21st, that the sun was going to move one more diameter over and pretty much match. Maybe that's the exact match. Like, when I think about the creators, times, and luminaries, I think there's the potential that they really do work out that perfectly, and the signs are just all that more amazing. And so my theory is, I wonder if possibly we're seeing these other phenomenon that don't work for everyone on Earth. Like, if you're in the North Pole, you won't see the straight line method, and probably the armillaries will be doing something weird too. But I wonder if this was the wrong day, because the sun, remember what I said, the sun is only going to move a little bit, the moon's going to jump like woo, woo, and so for it to hold its position for, any amount of time is amazing, and I'd like to see it, like I said, not just on one horizon, but on both, to see how long it holds that position, because that's just amazing. But what if we grabbed the wrong day? And what if it was actually supposed to be the next day? And I'm just going to show you, if my internet won't disappear on me. Oh good, this is still here. Maybe. Oh, you're kidding. Okay, so this is Analemma, whatever it is. Analemma. Sorry, it's getting late. But anyway, the thing I want to point out about this, that it is important to zero in on, is these pictures, if you know anything about these types of patterns that the sun makes over the course of the year, they take the picture like at a consistent time of day, like each day or each week or whatever it is. And so there's the same amount of time is between each of these pictures, but you notice the spacing gets more and more, and the spacing is most right around the equinox. This is the equinox, right around the equinox event. But as you get near the solstice events, the spacing is really close together. So that's important. The most amount of movement of the sun is happening right around the equinox. And there's one more picture I want to try and show you. Someone plotted this data, I guess, but this kind of shows the same thing. Around the solstice event, it's the hump up here. And the sun's really close together. But near the equinox events, you can see the sun is moving almost an entire diameter. I'd say maybe 3/4. So back to this picture, if the sun were to jump over 3/4 to a full diameter, and it does that, that's the correct amount of movement for that time of year. Like it is supposed to be the most movement, which is about almost a diameter. That would land you right on the moon path there. So after saying all that, going back to what I believe I confirmed for the past winter solstice event, it was the 21st, I guess. What do I got? I got a note here. I'll just click on that so you can read it. But you saw it in the picture there too, and for the first time I really feel very confident about this timestamp that I confirmed right here as a seasonal divider. And so when I added or subtracted 3 equal seasons from this date, I projected forward to kind of get an idea of when the spring equinox would be, and then I went backwards to see how did it coincide with this moon sign. And that's what this is down here. So I took 3 seasons, and then I subtracted 1 more day to get to the beginning of the seasonal sign, because according to Enoch, these equinox and solstice events, to call them that, they end the season. So I took 3 full seasons and then minus 1 more day to get to the beginning of that sign day. And I guess actually it would be potentially a little more. It would be like 1.33 because of that extra. Look at that. Because of that extra rendering of service, potentially, so everyone on Earth has the opportunity to see the sign. Like you need more time to see that sign, and so that's interesting. It was showing the 21st at like 4 in the morning. Now it's showing like the 20th, at night. But the point that I'm trying to make is this date, either the 20th or the 21st, and this is at night. So this is when the sign day starts. So that means you will see, if there were any sundial marks to look at and try and record, they would be happening on the 21st, because this is the start of the sign day. So the first full sign day at my location. would have been the 21st. And so if we go back, that does potentially give us an exact alignment with the moon. And so with equal seasons, you know, and so I guess what I'm trying to say is I'm sitting on the edge of my seat this year. I will be paying very close attention. I'm going to go ahead and, you know, record the straight line method anyway, I suppose, but it's going to be most critical to try and see what the moon is doing this year, I think. And I took a quick peek in Stellarium, and Stellarium seems to be showing that the moon is going to have portal alignment with the sun on like the 24th or the 25th. So that seems kind of late, but keep in mind that's just Stellarium's programming. I don't think Stellarium is programmed to pick up on such things like the luminaries rendering this extra service. I think the programming of Stellarium is more linear, so they're kind of missing these subtle things, so they could be easily off by a day or two. So, I mean, I guess the projection I was coming up with was I'm looking to probably see that moon alignment somewhere, either the 20th or the 21st, it's looking like, and that's an equal season from this seasonal day that I believe I was able to confirm this past shortest day of the year in the North America. So I really encourage you, this moon thing can potentially be a really big sign, but I do wonder if maybe it is going to be perfect, and I would just encourage people to take pictures of the moon and the sun on both the rising and setting horizons to see what the alignment is, because it just jumps around so much. I don't know if these are going to work for me now, but like I said here, like the moon was here, so that's what this picture is just the same viewing angle. You can see the brace and whatnot. So the moon was over here one night, and it jumped all the way over here, or it would have came down over here. So I mean, it jumps significantly. And so it's very easy to see the moon's movement, and if it pauses to line up with the sun, or it just pauses, you know, to ride its own track for any amount of time, you're going to be able to see that, and it truly is going to be amazing. And I have a horrible view of the horizons, but I'm going to give it a shot. But I encourage everyone else to please, this is, in my opinion, the most important thing you can try to do, is to try to see what this alignment is doing both on the rising and setting horizons, and I think that's going to be very telling, and I think that sign is going to potentially have the ability to yield an equal season. So with that said, I just want to show you one more video for inspiration in confirming the movement of the moon. And so this video, this guy records, you're going to see the moon come across the sky, and I'm going to go ahead and drop my mouse in to mark the location where the moon crossed the sky, and then you're going to see there's a date and a timestamp down here running, and you're going to see the next day how the moon comes in, and it's jumped down substantially. So it's very easy, if you're just taking a picture or a video of the moon with an object you can on the ground that you can kind of gauge its position or measure its position by. Make sure you have something, a tree or a post or something you can measure its position, but it's very easy to mark its position and to see if it's going to align with the sun. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to play this video, and I recommend you check out this video. I mean, I guess there's not I don't really care for anything else in the video other than this last part. It's really cool. It'd be awesome if there were more people recording the movements of luminaries like this. But so I'm going to drop the mouse on this position the first time the moon crosses the screen, and then the next time it crosses the screen, you'll see how much movement there is, just as an example. So did you see it came in down here? So I have, I'm sure I have pretty horrible video recording. It probably, the screen lagged or whatnot, but go check out that video. I'll have the link for that video in the description below this video, and please let me know if you have any questions, suggestions, concerns, thoughts, and please prepare yourself for this spring and prepare yourself to look for the signs. In Genesis 1:14, he put the luminaries in the heavens for signs, and